Hello everyone, it's your DP14. Welcome to a brand new video. So today we are back and we are looking at another YouTuber and what happened to them. As you can clearly see by the title, today we are talking about RiceGum. Do you remember him? Because if I'm honest, I'd forgotten about him. RiceGum is that guy that blew up in 2016 and he was part of the whole roasting kids phase. He also joined the vlogging phase. He was well known as being the flexer, the ego of YouTube, alongside the likes of Jake Paul, when all of those kind of people were being pushed up. In 2021, RiceGum has not uploaded. He has not uploaded, in fact, for 6 months. He is near enough just ditched YouTube at this point. It's quite sad to see someone with well over 10 million subscribers who was doing incredibly and might have had kind of toxic fan base and a kind of toxic attitude on the whole YouTube and whatnot, but it doesn't really matter because he was big, people enjoyed him, and that's all that matters. However, today, we're going to be talking about the rise and the fall of RiceGum. So, he started his channel on the 24th of September 2012, and his first upload was actually a COD video when he was only 15.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rice flavored gum. You can call me Brian, that's my real name, you know, because all you guys are, you know, my subscribers. I'm 15, I live in Vegas, I like to play COD.
For a first video, mine was much worse. You can't really blame him. He didn't really do too much for a few years. He did what you'd call a YouTuber's first couple years, where you upload absolute waffle and get very little out of it. Much like how I did for 4 years. Somewhere around the early 2015, he stepped up a lot. He started making reactions to different things, he started making critiques, Q&As and whatnot, and they started garnering a lot more views. He started picking up quite a lot. He was nowhere near the RiceGum today. He was still in the thousands of subs, which is big, but it's not 10 million RiceGum. Contrary to belief, those who hadn't seen RiceGum in his early days, myself included, he came across as very humble and genuine, and I know, I couldn't believe it myself either. It's such a stark contrast from what he ended up becoming, but in his early milestone celebrations, he was incredibly happy, he was incredibly gracious, he'd thank all the fans, he was incredibly in debt almost of his fans. He appreciated them that much. December 2015, he was still the humble and genuine RiceGum that we used to know. However, he introduced a new series, The Kids Must Be Stopped. Now, this was what RiceGum is known for, apart from the diss tracks. And they now have millions upon millions upon millions of views. He roasts all kinds of kids for doing all kinds of weird stuff, especially the likes of Jacob Sartorius, who he ended up collabing with later on, who has certainly dropped off. He was the kid to bully. Even I bullied him back in 2016. God, I forgot about that. Due to all of this, due to these roast videos, these reactions, these critiques, he ended up with 100,000 subscribers at the start of 2016. Not only that, but by the end of 2016, he was on 5 mil. And when I tell you that 2016 was the time for kind of commentary, this was when he was a commentary YouTuber. 2016 was when I started. That was when I was inspired to start making commentaries, doing all that kind of stuff, because people like RiceGum. Listen, I wasn't ever really a RiceGum fan, but people like RiceGum. People dropping that kind of content, people doing that kind of stuff. It personally inspired me, which is wild. In 2017, he started dropping his diss tracks, and he started basically banking on them because they'd get tens upon tens of millions of views, including Every Night Sis, which is currently just on the cusp of 200 mil, which is unreal. Now with this, he moved to LA, and he became a very much LA-based YouTuber, working with the likes of FaZe, like Banks, who he became great friends with. He had an extensive network, which he included in what was to follow. January 2017, he introduced all these vlogs. He switched the channel up to follow with the trends. This was when vlogging was at its peak. And he said himself he was a bit tired of the roast videos. He kept them up, but certainly not to the same level, certainly not in the same amount. At this point, it kind of dropped off a little bit on them, which was fair. And at the time, it worked, because he kept switching up his content, and he even ended up doing stuff like Fortnite, when that was huge. By early 2018, he was on 10 million subscribers, which is unreal. Early 2018 as well, he was in a Super Bowl ad. A Super Bowl ad with Iggy Azalea.
Easy to lose focus, but I'll wait for you. I've been looking for a savior.
I remember this specifically. Again, I wasn't really a RiceGum fan, but I remember seeing all his videos on it, and I was impressed at the time. This is when everyone's views started to sour on him, but it's impressive, the reputation he built at this point, and the fan base he built. However, this was certainly where he dropped off. After he hit 10 mil, he just slowed down. The analytics just completely stopped nearly. It's very interesting. This is due to quite a few reasons. He kept promising and not delivering. For example, he promised to make more music. He said he'd drop a song a week, a song every 2 weeks, etc. He never dropped much more songs. And when he dropped songs, for example, 2020, they'd just get a few thousand views, which for RiceGum's level is really, really not great. When you're looking at the likes of KSI, who's banging it, and then RiceGum, who's just... With this, he also promised daily uploads all of the time. He'd keep promising, like, daily uploads, weekly uploads, and he'd never deliver. Meaning he'd have to keep making apology videos, which just diminished his fan base, turned his fan base against him, and he admits it himself that it was his fault.
I have a lot of supporters and I have a lot of haters, but slowly my supporters are turning into haters. Like, it's a combination of lack of content, broken promises, and just being inconsistent is honestly all my fault.
For example, in his 1 million subscriber special, he promised his fans that he was never gonna do what some YouTubers do and blow up and then just stop uploading. He said he'd never change, he'd always be the same guy as he was.
I do realize that a lot of YouTubers hit a mil, hit 2 mil, 3 mil, and they just get satisfied and they just start slowing down, upload once a month, upload shitty videos. Just know that I will never change.
But shortly after that video, he completely changed. He started flexing his clothes. He went from relatable to having a huge ego to hanging out with people because they were cool. He basically spat on his audience, near enough, that he might as well have spat on his audience. So at this point, of course, he did the Fortnite stuff earlier, but he was still primarily a vlogging channel. By 2018, 2019, vlogging had dropped off completely. And not only that, he was really one of the first YouTubers to really give an inside look at the influencers in LA, which was, again, personally not my thing, but a big thing which no one had really ever seen. By 2018, 2019, everyone was doing it. It was just the thing to do. He was no longer unique, no longer someone everyone wanted to watch. He fell very short in that aspect. Due to him just not uploading at this point, he had no chance to mix up his content. If it had mixed it up, it had just ruined it even more. In order to properly change your content up, you need to upload consistently in order to captivate your audience and prove why you deserve for them to keep watching this new content. He didn't do this. Now, there is one final reason as to why he died. I mean, he's still alive. He's still kicking. I mean, his channel. Him and Jake Paul uploaded mystery box videos. Much like the CSGO skin kind of things. There was this website and they'd go on it and you could open different boxes. There'd be like hypebeast kind of boxes where you could get clothes. It was basically a gambling site. For example, you'd buy a box for $100 and you might get some $20 shoes out of it. Or you might get a $1,000 hoodie out of it. Now, on the surface level, this is fine. However, a lot of RiceGum's audience was kids. And selling gambling to kids, that's just plain wrong. As you can clearly tell, Jake Paul is still out there. He's still doing his thing. One reason is because he is the villain of YouTube. So when he does stuff wrong, it doesn't have that much impact as someone else. RiceGum marketed it in such a way that it was even more scummy. He marketed it in a way that it was actually profitable. For kids, especially since this was made just after Christmas, when all the kids will have just had their lovely little bit of, pocket money for Christmas. They'll have their cash, they'll have their vouchers, whatever. He is trying to bank on this and getting them to spend money on this site so they pay him more, basically. And he's advertising it as a profitable business. So you buy this box, you keep buying boxes, and you're basically guaranteed to make loads and loads of money. In the video, he spends about an hour on there, and he doubles his money from $3,000 to well over $6,000. It's just quite scummy. Again, he had to apologize for that, and it's just, that was the final nail in the coffin. Even the website had to shut down for having so much backlash. After that, RiceGum has just basically stopped uploading any kind of consistent level. He started a family channel, don't even know what that was. That was a flash in the pan. The whole reason as to why he is not here anymore is due to his lack of uploads. He could have come back from the mystery box thing. People have done stuff like that and they've come back from it. Clearly Jake Paul. However, due to his lack of uploads, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's laziness, a lack of interest, but he hasn't really addressed it and that's his problem. See, he still gets over 1 million views every time he uploads. There is no reason why he couldn't come back, but I can nearly guarantee that he won't come back. I'm going to end this video here. I think you basically understand the story of RiceGum at this point. I think it's a genuine, interesting one, and it's a good experience, and it's a good lesson on how growth works. If you blow up within a year, if you go from 100,000 subs to 5 million in a year, it's going to boost your ego. It's going to be hard not to. Even if like someone like myself did it. I would try my best not to change, but there is no way of knowing for sure. this humble, gracious RiceGum of old turned into the horrendous flexer with the huge ego that he is now. Someone can't necessarily gauge their growth. If they blow up, they blow up. I think it's down to themselves and the people around them to help keep them grounded. The whole point of this is RiceGum didn't stay grounded, and therefore he's flown off and he is gone. He is gone into the clouds, and I don't know if we will ever see him in the same capacity as we did before. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I've been MedDB14. If you want more What Happened videos, just let me know. Let me know who you want me to talk about. And yeah, thank you guys. See ya.
Poison drip drop, that's the blood that's in my fucking veins. Venom in my fucking brain, they think I'm insane. Imagine being better than everybody around your fucking age. Puts you in a fucking rage, anger on your fucking face. Argue with you, why the fuck would I stoop so fucking low? I'm out your league, I'm way above, you don't reach my fucking